Some stories are born in legends, others are carved into memory, not because we want them, but because we can't escape them. This is not a tale passed down through generations. This isn't something I read in a book or found in a shadowy corner of the internet. This happened to me. What you're about to hear is not fiction. It was a moment in my life that fractured reality, shattered the illusion that our world is safe, rational, explainable. And ever since that night, I've questioned what I really saw. If you've ever felt something watching you when you're alone, if you've ever heard a voice call your name when no one else was home, then you already know something else is out there. And sometimes it finds you. It was a Thursday night, cold, still, ordinary. The kind of night you forget even existed. I was living alone in a small, outdated apartment on the outskirts of town. Quiet neighbors, cheap rent, surrounded by woods. Not eerie woods, mind you. Just trees, harmless, peaceful, until they weren't. That night, I fell asleep around 11 p.m., drifting off to the soft whir of my fan. Everything was still until I woke up. The clock read 2:13 a.m. No thunder, no dreams, just awake. The kind of awake that isn't groggy, the kind that feels deliberate. Then came the voice, muffled, outside, and it said my name. At first, I thought I'd imagined it, the residue of a dream. But then it came again, clearer, closer. Alex, come here. It was the way it said it, like someone who didn't speak often, like it was trying to imitate how a human sounds, not being one. I froze, not out of fear, but out of pure, unfiltered instinct. Something was wrong. Very, very wrong. I sat up, slowly, barely breathing. The blinds were shut tight, but I could feel it. That weight, that pressure in the air. And then 3 soft taps. Tap, 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 right on my bedroom window. My stomach dropped. No birds, no wind, just deliberate knocks, followed by silence so thick, it felt like the world had stopped spinning. I didn't move for almost a full minute. Eventually, heart pounding, I slid out of bed and crept toward the window. I told myself I'd just peek. Just confirm nothing was there. But I wish I never looked. Through the narrow gap in the blinds, I saw it. Not a man, not quite. It was tall, thin, unnaturally still, pale, like paper left out in the sun. Its eyes, completely black. No reflection, no depth, and it was smiling. A slow, creeping smile. Not friendly, not human. Like a predator playing with its food. It tilted its head, a slow bird-like twitch, then raised one hand, long fingers, too long, and waved. I dropped the blinds and stumbled back. My breath was shallow. The room spun. What I'd seen didn't make sense. I didn't want it to make sense. I backed into the far corner of my room and sat in the darkness, phone in hand, trying to decide if I should call the police. But what would I say? There's something smiling at me through my window. But it's not human. I know you now. I screamed. Out loud. Turned on every light in the house. Locked every door twice. But somehow, I already knew. Locks wouldn't matter. Eventually, I passed out. Not from comfort, but exhaustion. And that's when it got worse. I slipped into sleep paralysis. I was trapped in my body, eyes open, unable to move. And there, in the corner of my room, it stood. Same figure. Same black eyes. But this time, inside. Its smile was wider now, jaw almost unhinged. It moved closer, slowly. With each step, I felt pressure, like the air was getting thicker, heavier, until I could barely breathe. I tried to scream. Nothing. It crouched near my bed, placing its face inches from mine. I could see every detail now, the cracks in its skin, like dried clay. And it whispered again, this time slower, more intimate. You let me in. And then, everything went black. I woke up drenched in sweat, my throat raw, but the room was quiet. Too quiet. Over the next few weeks, I tried to convince myself it was stress, exhaustion, a dream, but things kept happening. Electronics would turn on by themselves. Lights flickered, even after replacing bulbs. I'd find muddy footprints on the wooden floor, leading from the window to the bedroom. Always the same 3 taps at night. Always at 2:13 a.m. And always that voice, sometimes faint, sometimes clear, but always saying my name. I moved. Different city, different state, far from that place. Far from the trees and the cold and the smiling thing in the dark. But I still don't sleep well. I keep the lights on. I avoid mirrors at night. And when the clock ticks past 2 a.m., I listen. Because every now and then, I still hear it, a whisper in the dark, a voice in the walls, calling my name. So if it ever happens to you, if you hear something outside your window, calling you by name, don't look, don't answer. And whatever you do, don't open the blinds. This is Nightfall Codex. Until next time, stay in the light.